Alex Nostro, I understand, is the first picture we're going to show you. There it is from Coral Gables. He was kind enough to send us this picture and show us what we've seen after Hurricane Katrina, and now once again with Hurricane Wilma. And we're likely to find, as you walk outside your home, a lot of trees that are down. A very big one just outside his home, we imagine. Cecilia Benitez also sent us, Alexandra Oz, I'm sorry, let's go back to that one, sent us this picture, as I mentioned before, of downed trees again. We found the same thing, as we mentioned a short while ago, just outside our studios because of the strong winds. This is Carlos Benitez, who sent us pictures from outside his home, Cecilia Benitez rather, from outside her home, showing us the damage that she's found. And we thank you for bringing us these pictures. We're going to keep showing you other ones, but we urge you to send us anything that you may have. This, a fence that was brought down by the winds. If you experienced this one, Wilma, then you know how strong the winds were. No doubt that would make sense why that fence was no match for Wilma. This picture seems kind of dark right now, but it appears to be perhaps while the rain was coming down. This is Gary Eck from North Miami. Again, we're looking at these for the first time with you, so bear with me. As we get these pictures in, we want to bring them to you so quickly that we're really just turning them around and bringing them to you. And it seems like maybe a live wire there. We saw so many transmitters blowing on our way into work today, exploding. So that would explain also the power outages that we're hearing about now. Gaston Arellano from Coral Gables sent us this picture. More tree damage, and some of those trees, as we saw with Katrina, end up really affecting the situation as far as traffic, sometimes right in the middle of the roadway. More trees here. This one is from George Cohen, Lakes by the Bay, sending us pictures of what they've managed to witness. Heather Rodriguez from Homestead. We have that picture there. Again, more tree damage, what appears to be trees that were brought down outside a residential neighborhood. This picture is from Karen Kirby, Palmetto Bay. And the waters really rose there, but thankfully it didn't appear, at least at that point, any flooding, which is the good news with this storm. It doesn't appear flooding is going to be so much of an issue here in Dade as it has been before in the past with other storms. Kevin Hennessy from Key Largo. Ooh, he seems to have had some serious damage because of the winds outside his home. And we're going to continue to show you these pictures, but please send us whatever pictures or video you have at www.cbs4news.com or pics4@cbs4.com, and we'll be sure to turn them around as quickly as possible and bring them to you so we can share with you what our viewers have been seeing, especially for those of you who perhaps are watching us on the internet. You can also see those pictures as well. We have more information to pass along to you. Our assignment desk here is working very hard to bring us the latest information with police departments and anyone they can contact so that we can let you know what's going on. In the city of Miami, police have made 5 arrests, they're telling us, due to looting. So unfortunately, we're starting to see that here in the city of Miami as well. Also, very important for anyone who has to head towards Key Biscayne or maybe is on the way or hoping to get out of Key Biscayne, we understand right now until damage assessments are completed, the Rickenbacker Causeway will remain closed to local traffic. That road will be open only to emergency vehicles. Residents are urged to stay off the streets right now while they try to fix the situation there. And one more bit of information to give you from Transit Authority. 878 east of Southwest 87th Avenue is closed because of the Metro Rail debris there. It seems that some part of the Metro Rail fell onto that road, so try to avoid the area. And authorities are also urging people not to use the 836 because of dangling signs as a result of the strong winds that Wilma brought our way. We'll continue to get the very latest information for you and bring it to you as soon as we get it. At the Breaking News Desk, Beatrice Canals, CBS 4 News.
All right, Beatrice, we'll get back to you right now. We want to bring in Ruth Perdomo. She's on the phone with us right now and has an extraordinary story of damage related to this hurricane. Ruth? Ruth, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Tell me what happened at your home.
Okay, it's not my house. It's across from the street,
Okay.
And the whole roof came over, the back of the roof came over to the front, completely, the front of the house, and it's, you can see the ceiling fans, you can see everywhere. The back of the house has no roof at all. It's completely destroyed. And the front of the house is the only thing that had, the only part of the house that has a roof. The back is all gone, and they have in the back lake. So apparently it looks like a kind of a small tornado came through because we can see the path from that house to my sister's house where I am at right now, and the other houses in the back. So it's like you can see the trail of the tornado that took out all the shingles from the other houses. Trees are all upside down, but that house is outrageous. It's completely the whole roof in the back is completely gone. It's in the front of the house, actually.
Ruth, we haven't gotten any reports of tornadoes, but Weather Control is investigating that. We'll see if there was, in fact, one in West Kendall. In the meantime, we can't help but wonder about the family inside that home. What happened to them?
No, the family, they hide the best they could, but they're okay. Thank God they are okay. And only the house, materials in, and the roof came on top of the cars and everything. It's horrible. It's a disaster in the house.
Was it a lot of people in the house at the time?
There were like 4 people in the house, yes, a lady and 2 or 3 men, I believe. And they hid the best they could, so they got very scared. The lady was about to, give up a little while ago. She was so nervous that she was not feeling well. But so far, she's okay. She's just taking pictures for the insurance company. And as a matter of fact, the Hurricane Center just passed by in an SUV, and they just came down and took pictures of the house and went in the back of the house, which is completely destroyed. And they already left, but they took pictures also, the Hurricane Center.
Does the family have a place where they can go to stay?
I'm sorry?
Does the family that was living in that house have a place to go?
They're still there in the house.
Well, if the roof is ripped off of it, I'm assuming they can't stay there.
I know
tonight.
They cannot stay there. It's all open.
Do they have a place to go?
I don't know. I will have to talk to them and ask them if they have a place to go. But they really need to stay somewhere.
Okay.
The whole house, the back house, is completely gone.
Well, they can contact
There's no roof at all.
They can contact our Neighbors for Neighbors group, who may be able to help them if they need assistance at this point.
Okay, I'll tell her.
Do you want to write down the phone number? Do you have something to write with?
That would be fine. Let me grab a pen.
Okay,
Because
we'll
I know
get a chance
that
to grab
the
a
Red
pen.
Cross is already helping people in
Yeah.
these situations.
Well, at
What's
least
the
they could
number?
hook them up with
It's
the Red Cross.
305
Right.
597
597
597 4404. 597-4404.
Okay.
Okay, Ruth, thank you.
Okay.
Take
Well,
care.
thank you.
Our
All right.
pleasure.
More,
Right now we want to head to Pompano Beach. We heard from Jill Martin, who covered the storm for us there, that it was just horrible, like she's never seen, cars on top of each other, roofs peeled off. We have a resident there, Greg Kyle, who can speak to that. Greg, hello, and how did you fare in Wilma?
Not too bad, but it was rough here. We never got a break in it. I guess the ice stayed to the north of us, so we got pounded from about 6 in the morning till about a half hour ago.
And describe the pounding.
Wind never stopped, changed directions, and basically right now we're trapped in the neighborhood. There's trees down everywhere.
and where are you right now? You're in your house?
Yeah, in the house.
Have you seen these cars tossed around? Jill Martin was reporting just cars being rolled down the street by the wind.
I didn't see any cars roll down the street, but there's a bunch of cars that are trapped underneath trees. Basically, trees fell down on cars all over the place.
What did it sound like when the storm was coming through?
Pretty loud. It had the pipes inside the house making noises.
How
Did you feel safe the entire time, or were you worried for your safety at any point?
I felt pretty safe for the most point inside. Definitely wasn't a good time to be outdoors, though.
No,
Not at all.
absolutely not. That's why we encouraged everybody to put up their shutters. Did you do that?
No, I live in a complex where we don't have shutters.
Okay, you have storm-resistant windows?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so the building's held up pretty good. It's mainly the trees in this area that just came down. There's views that you would have never seen before. I can see the turnpike from where I'm at, and I saw a SunPass sign earlier that no longer is up there at this point, one of the large blue SunPass signs.
Uh-huh. And what about power lines? Do you see any that are knocked down?
The majority of the power lines here are underground.
Okay,
Well, that's a
good.
good thing. Well, the damage up there is extensive, as we're finding out. And I just got this note, Maggie, that the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport has received extensive damage in the storm. They're still trying to assess the situation, but that airport is closed until further notice, and as we reported just a while ago, MIA is closed at least through today. They hope to open up tomorrow, and they are looking for damage at MIA. But there were earlier reports that pieces of hangars from the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport had actually blown out over 595. All that video is on its way into CBS 4. When we have it, we'll put it on the air and bring it to you. If you're joining us by radio, it's 1:27 in the afternoon as we continue our coverage.
And right now what we're doing, along with emergency officials, is assessing damage and bringing you information that you need to stay safe in the aftermath of the storm, which is the most dangerous time. We want to let you know that all crossing gates have been taken down during the storm for safety, so people out on the roads need to use extreme caution, because even though all trains will be on reduced speed, people need to make sure to stop and look both ways at every single railroad crossing until the gates are functioning again. We don't want to see an accident there, nor on the traffic lights that are now out. Since we have no power, you need to treat those as four-way stop signs.
We're looking at some video here as the storm moved through, and you can see that it was really roaring from about 4 or 5 o'clock this morning all the way through noon. There are still reports around the area of gusts that are still causing some problems. Out here in Doral, the wind is still gusting to pretty good speeds and throwing some of this debris around. It's not time to go outside yet. All the EOC officials in all three counties, Monroe, Miami-Dade, and Broward, are telling us all to stay inside. Emergency vehicles reportedly in Coral Springs are having trouble getting to people who are calling for help, because people have actually gone out in their cars and are out driving around trying to look at the damage that happened. And we see this after every hurricane, and we always ask that you please don't do that, because especially with this storm, as I mentioned to Maggie a while ago, it pulled out and is pulling out so fast that I think people are going to think, well, the weather's gone and now it's time to go out and look around, and the emergency people really have to get out there first.
That's the first priority. And even if the weather's gone and you choose to go out, be extremely cautious. There are downed power lines. There are many, many hazards. I'm trying to get as much information for you as I can, and I want to reiterate the boil water orders in effect for Broward County cities, Plantation, Pompano Beach, Tamarack. Nothing yet from Miami-Dade. They are still assessing. Deerfield Beach had a boil water order, but that has since been lifted.
Most of Broward County is without power right now. FPL's last report, and these are fluctuating constantly, at least 500,000 customers without power. That means a lot more people. Most cities are reporting that their lift stations are down in Broward County, but this storm did not dump as much rain as some of the past hurricanes, but the lift stations are involved in moving the water around the county, and that's another reason why the boil water order is in effect in many places, because they're having some problems moving out the sewer water.
If you're wondering how long it will take to get your power restored, of course we can't tell you that, but this is what we can tell you. We have crews from 23 states that are already here, and they are mobilizing as soon as it's safe, and they'll get to work right away. After Katrina, they were able to restore power within a week, and there were like 1 million customers without power. That's roughly the estimate with this storm as well, except now, because Katrina knocked down so many trees, they have easier access to the power lines. So maybe, hopefully, it could be even quicker than it was in the aftermath of Katrina.
Well, we can hope, and the temperatures are supposed to be much cooler after this storm than they were after Katrina. Downtown Fort Lauderdale is really took a hit from this thing. The 14-story school administration building has windows blown out. There's wind and rain damage inside. It's anticipated that school administrators and other personnel will be operating out of a technical support building, which is out in Sunrise. You'll want to check ahead if you're one of those employees to make sure. And we also have reports that there was extensive damage to the Broward County Courthouse.
And it's also closed until further notice. I'm reading here about the awesome power of this storm. A 250-foot construction crane collapsed onto coastal State Road A1A in Hallandale Beach. I mean, it was that strong. Mm-hmm. It was that strong, and that's also another road hazard. Obviously, A1A in Hallandale Beach has debris on it, and we have reports of flooding as well on some parts of A1A. Let's see if I can find that for you so I can tell you exactly where it is, an area to avoid. It's in East Hollywood, where you can't tell where the road ends. And
While you
obviously
look for
drivers are
that,
being urged to stay away.
can I toss this in here? All sworn police officers, Miami Police Department, all sworn police officers and essential civilian employees are to report to work starting at 2 o'clock this afternoon, weather permitting. It's a half hour from now. So if you're a member of the Miami Police Department or what they would call an essential civilian employee, you're asked to report to the manpower desk at MPD headquarters at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
I did find it, by the way. It's A1A south of Hollywood Boulevard. The waters of the South Lake have gone over the bridge there and onto the roadway, and that's creating the hazard. So if you are out on the road and you see anything hazardous, please call us and let us know, because we would love to pass this information on to our viewers. Maybe you can help your neighbors. This is how we're going to have to do this for a little while till we get a better handle on communications.
Yeah, we've received a lot of damage here out in Doral at the television station, which is preventing us from hooking up some of our live communications. Believe me, we're working on it. We're going to get it sorted out for you. We've gotten some telephone reports that have come in from the Keys, and in the Middle Keys and in the Upper Keys, they're still dealing with the storm surge. But Brian Norcross has been investigating that situation and telling us that the water came up rapidly, but it is going to recede, and in the Upper Keys it'll be the last to recede, and that should be happening about now all the way through 2 o'clock.
So that's some good news for the Keys. Right now we want to talk to Dennis Grob. He's a Fort Lauderdale resident. Everyone we've spoken with in Fort Lauderdale has a pretty hairy story to tell. Is that the case for you, Dennis?
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How was it for you during the storm?
Pardon?
How did you fare during the storm? Was it
Well,
bad?
we fared pretty fair, but one thing that I wanted to report to you folks was apparently from Sunrise Boulevard north, and I'm on North Andrews Avenue, we have no water. I mean, there's nothing coming, and I checked with about 6 different neighbors within a 3-square-block area where I'm at, and there's no water.
Sorry, Dennis, we were listening to our producer, but you report that Sunrise Boulevard North, you have no water.
Correct.
Have you tried to report this to anyone?
Yeah, I called the police department. I tried the city's information line, and the police department are just overswamped with too much stuff, and the city information line, whatever you want to call it, is not picking up calls.
Brian? Let's bring Brian Norcross into the conversation.
We have reports relayed to us through Light FM that Wilton Manors, Oakland Park, the Bayview section of Fort Lauderdale all are without water. So apparently something has gone wrong in that part of Broward County.
Possibly the electric pumps?
But usually you still have some water. You may have low pressure, but usually you have some water. But in any case, you're not alone, Dennis, is the point. In that central part of Broward, East Broward County, something has obviously gone wrong.
And I wanted to relate to you what I went through with the storm. I've been here for 25 years. And Brian, you and I used to go back when you were on Channel 10. I was one of your regular guys who call you giving my rain and wind gauging stuff until it blew away last year with Francis. And I was watching this storm come up, and it's the strangest thing. The clouds were coming out of the southwest going northeast, and about somewhere in an angle, they turned and they went north, basically almost making its own circle above me. And I got a street sign from northeast 11th Street and Andrews Avenue. That's a block and a half away. That green two-way sign flew all the way up my street into my block on North Andrews. I'm in the 1200 block. That's how that wind was whipping it out.
Yeah, it was whipping. There's no question about it. Yeah, this storm did kind of everything backwards from what we've seen in recent times here. You know, if you go back in history, there have been a lot of storms coming from this direction, but we just haven't had them around here in recent years.
And I go back with you guys when with Hurricane Andrew, Brian, and you were, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do, but you guys saved my life because I was having a heart attack at the time, and to have you on the radio at the time to kind of, you know, calm down my nerves was something I cannot ever thank you enough for.
Wow, Dennis.
Incredible story.
I know that Brian doesn't like to take credit like that.
Oh, let him take credit. He deserves it.
I know. He absolutely does, but he's humble that way. Thanks a lot,
Thank you, Dennis, very much.
All right. Dennis Grob, presumably the authorities, the proper authorities are aware of your problem with the water.
All right.
If not, you know, we're getting it out there, so hopefully they'll learn about it and help you out soon. Thank you for calling.
Folks. Have a good day.
You too.
All right, you two make
Bye-bye.
the best of it. Well, we're trying to sort out some problems here at the TV station.
We want to let you know, in case you're watching us on CBS 4, that we need to go off the air just for a few minutes to sort out some transmitter problems, but you can keep watching us without interruption on UPN 33, and as soon as we're back on the air on CBS 4, we'll let you know. And of course, it won't be interrupted at all on the radio, so, you know, it'll be seamless. Just switch to UPN 33 for just a couple of minutes, about 2 minutes. And we continue our coverage here on UPN 33 of Hurricane Wilma. And now we're getting a good look at the damage, and it's not pretty anywhere in South Florida,
It
Rob.
doesn't sound like any place escaped the